Continuing with our driver availabilities, we now have Carl Edwards over here in the press conference area of the Media Center. So if you are in the deadline room and need Carl, please join us. Carl, big announcement earlier this week about being assigned to the President's Council on Fitness by the First Lady. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's an honor. We had a really good time there. We got to hang out with some kids and do some physical activity. But for me, it's just it's a big honor to be a part of something like that. The First Lady has made it a very high priority for them to help our kids in this country, especially in public schools, to make sure they're eating well and getting enough physical activity. So it's good to be a part of that.
Sounds good. New Hampshire, big race weekend.
Yeah, it's a big weekend for us at Roush Fenway. We'd love to get a win here with the Red Sox, just down the road, and John Henry and all the folks at Fenway Group. Did the Sox win last night, by the way? I don't know. All right, well, cool. Congratulations to them. It's amazing, the Red Sox fans in this area. We were flying in on the radio, the air traffic control radio. I heard two different people ask about the score of the game, the pilots, and that's stuff that you don't hear that a lot. So very passionate fans. It would mean a lot to win here for them, and really for our whole team. We've got some stuff we're going to try this week, and I'm excited about that. We need to turn this thing around and start running better, and this will be a good place to do it.
Sounds good. Questions for Carl? Please do me and Annette a favor. Raise your hand when I call on you, and that will help her locate you. Chuck has the first question. Then Dustin.
Chuck Howard, NASCAR Media Group. Carl, looking down the road a little bit to Gateway, obviously you love getting back there. What is it you like about that track, and are you tired of the Wallace boys getting a bigger ovation than you do at Gateway?
Well, there's more Wallaces, and they've been there longer than I have, but yeah, Gateway's cool. I mean, that's I started racing for Mike Mittler in NASCAR, in the Truck Series, and man, I've been there in a bunch of capacities, and always dreamed about going there and running well. And to go there now as a previous winner, that's cool. I actually got the funniest speeding ticket I ever got was right there in front of the racetrack with my picture on the billboard. We were doing something in St. Louis, a buddy of mine, and we got pulled over, and I got a speeding ticket right there, and the cop thought it was pretty funny too. But it's just wild. It's I've had to have my buddy come pick me up with a tow rope with my piece of junk car that broke down when I was leaving that racetrack 7 or 8 years ago, and to be able to leave there, with the trophy a couple times, that's really special. So I love going there. I'm glad we're able to go race there. It's cool.
Dustin
Long, Landmark Newspapers. Got a couple questions. With the new nationwide car coming on board, how will that help drivers, or can that help bridge the gap, especially for younger drivers with the Cup? And is there, I guess, how would you describe what that bridge has been like, and what can this new car do down the road?
So you're saying that what you're saying how
I'm asking is just with this new nationwide car, as they move to it, will that help bridge the gap and make the transition easier for some younger drivers, or is it going to make it more challenging?
That's a really good question. Anytime you change something in a sport, anytime something is different, a big change like that car, I think it gives guys with less experience, it gives them a little more equal footing, because I don't have any experience racing that car, and the other Cup guys don't either. So I think it gives them a chance to show maybe their talent instead of their experience level. Does that make sense?
I also just want to ask, this is the 20th anniversary of Days of Thunder this weekend. So
really? That makes me feel really old.
What do you remember about it, or what kind of impact, or what did you think, or what were you much of a fan?
Boy, I don't know. It was neat that for me at that time, my dad raced at the local dirt track, and I worked on his race car, and it was cool to see, Tom Cruise doing a movie about car racing. I really remember that scene with the Sweet and Low or whatever those sugar packets were. But I liked girls. I was just figuring out girls at that time too. are trying to figure them out. But it's just cool. It was cool that they did a movie about racing, and it's not the most physically accurate movie, but it was cool. It was neat.
Angelique?
Hi,
Hey,
Carl.
that's my pit crew member back there.
Carl, I was just Kevin was just in here saying that after last weekend, everybody just assumed that everybody hates everybody. And to what do you owe more of the maybe the fiery tempers after races and what he also called rough racing, which he said he enjoys?
What are you asking me exactly?
Well, to what do you owe that? This season, it seems like it's really the fiery tempers and certainly stemming from last weekend's race.
I don't know. That's a good question. I guess knowing that there's not going to be any repercussions, knowing that you can go out there and settle your scores the way you want to settle them. That probably owes to it a little bit. But it is pretty amazing. It just seems like last week seemed a little rougher to me than what I've seen before there at that racetrack. But it's what goes around comes around, and the guys who drive like that, we end up getting driven that way themselves. That's the way it goes.